streets looking for food, starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every crew. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man. They want you to reality see. They don't want you to know about the black sheep. Leaving 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct. And I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink. But I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and up and we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers. Cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in the way to settle. If you stop the machines for a minute you might hear, but they won't cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ab, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguise is religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. War, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more. But they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Alrighty, back again at it, and you know, yeah, this has been an interesting 24 hours. It's always been very interesting, and with the Trump administration, with JD Vance, with all the cohorts, just make believing about the United States of America. They just remaking all the history, you know, imagining it in their head. I mean, these motherfuckers think they have something to do with Valhalla and shit, when actually a lot of you had nothing to do with the foundings of the United States of America, and you damn sure didn't volunteer for fucking free. A lot of you, you know, a lot of these people bitching about things that really, it makes you wonder, are you even American? The things that you bitch about, the things that you moan about, the thing the Supreme Court bitches about, we can't have a black kid at Yale University who have any money. We can't have him getting a space in there. No DEI. Why should we? You know, that's way too much. We don't want equality, you know, but then they go out there and then they want to racially profile people. But then when you ask them about this shit, and you ask them about the foundings of the country, and you let them know that people actually worked for free. Yeah, see, today, there's congressional members bitching about who's going to get paid. Look, let me tell you something. Trump doesn't give a fuck about any military person. I actually care about the military. I understand. I actually care about federal workers. Trump doesn't give a fuck about them, but the people were dumb enough to elect a person who doesn't give a fuck about anything about the United States of America. And because you did, you are going to go through some pain. But while you go through that pain, don't you ever fucking forget one thing. There's some Americans that had to work for fucking free. Don't ever in your fucking life ever forget that. There's some people that didn't have even the right to vote, the right to even get a wage for their work, the right to own anything. And that wasn't for one fucking day. That wasn't for 1 month. That was for fucking centuries. So while you military people are out there, I just want you to know one thing. I respect you, but don't you ever fucking forget that is not the mark of being American. Getting a check for your labor is not the mark of what it is to be an American. Not at all. Because some people fucking worked and fought for fucking free. And you will never in your life know what the fuck that is about. And do you know what those people built for free? Do you know what those people had to build and work on for free? You know, just so we clear about this shit right here, the motherfuckers are out there tearing down and attacking. These buildings, some Americans, not all, but some Americans had to do this shit for free. Yes. And as you can see, Trump, he got all the money to tear it down too. He can tear it down. He's got loads of money, but not everybody got a check to build this motherfucking building. Not everybody got a check to build the Capitol. Some people had to do it for free while other people got a little bit of pay. Not everybody got a check to build the motherfucking White House. No. That's not the history. The history is some people had to work on it and build it for free. Yes, some people had to work on it and build it for free, but Trump gets a check to tear it down. In the same country, they don't even want to respect the legacy of the people who didn't even have the right to fucking vote and today get harassed on the fucking street. And they don't even want to let one little poor girl or boy from the ancestors of these people go to fucking Yale University because they call that DEI, even if they got the same grades. Yo, to the Supreme Court, fuck you. Donald Trump, fuck you. J.D. Vance, fuck you. And anybody that thinks their sacrifice for the United States of America is somehow they can't go a month or two without a motherfucking check, fuck you. Remember what country you are in. Just remember the fucking country. I'm not saying pretend something different. I'm saying remember it. Remember it because it could be worse for you. Remember it. It could be fucking worse. You see, nobody should have to compromise health care. No one should have to compromise that with their tax dollars. No one should have to pretend like they live in a country that is fair when it's not fucking fair. No one should have to just pretend that away. And that's exactly what they're doing with these ICE patrols, violating people's Fourth Amendment. Yes, ICE, you're not patriotic. You don't fucking work for free. Fuck you. You need to stay away from African Americans, bitch. Because you didn't fucking make the ultimate sacrifice and you never fucking will. And everybody else that's not getting a check right now, you need to remember who worked on these buildings for free before you cry about it.
Yes, enslaved African Americans played a major role in building the U.S. Capitol, the White House, and the early infrastructure of Washington, D.C., including parts of the Washington Monument. Here's a breakdown by site. U.S. Capitol building. Construction began in 1793, and enslaved labor was used extensively in quarrying, hauling, and cutting the stone, as well as carpentry and brickmaking. The federal government rented enslaved people from their owners, paying the owners, not the laborers.
I didn't, but my ancestors did. Did your ancestors work for free in the United States of America? What did they build for free? Did your ancestors work on the Capitol building to build it for free? Did they work on the monument to build it for free? Did they work on the White House to build it for free? Did they? Yes or no? Put a 1 in the chat if they did. Put a 2 in the chat if they didn't.
For their work. The architect of the Capitol's office acknowledges that enslaved African Americans helped build the US Capitol, and there is even a slave labor commemorative marker on the Capitol grounds recognizing their contribution. Open quote. Source, fetbother.aoc.gov/explore-capitol-campus/slave labor commemorative marker. Close quote. The White House, construction began in 1792, and enslaved African Americans were among the main builders. They worked as stonecutters, brickmakers, carpenters, and laborers alongside some free black workers and European immigrants. Enslaved workers were hired out by their enslavers to the federal government and private contractors. The White House Historical Association explicitly confirms this. Open quote. Source, http. www.whitehousehistory.org/pressrooms press materials/enslaved-workers who built the White House. Close quote. Washington Monument. Work started in 1848, paused during the Civil War, and resumed after 1876. The earliest construction phase involved enslaved laborers who worked in the stone.
If not, listen to this dumbass comment right here. Listen to this. Nobody should care what your ancestors did, what you did. So why the fuck are you right-wing bitch asses always talking about the founding fathers, bitch? Why are you always talking about 1776, bitch? Okay, what the fuck is your gripe? Are you not talking about your ancestors? Okay, see, this is the thing. The right wing like to pretend like they're the ones that have something to do with building the fucking country. This is the problem. And they use that concept to go around challenging other people's fucking rights all the goddamn time. That's the fucking problem. So it may not matter to you because maybe your motherfucking ancestors didn't actually do shit for the country for free. Okay, but other people whose ancestors did, it matters to them, bitch. And also, if your ancestors worked on the Capitol building, it matters to the people whose ancestors did, bitch. If they worked on the Capitol, it matters to the people who did, whether they got paid or not. Did yours, bitch? God damn, what the fuck is this? It shouldn't matter what your ancestors did. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. You better shut the fuck up with that one. Okay, and that doesn't work in any motherfucking country on earth. You don't come to Denmark telling Danes that what their fucking ancestors did doesn't fucking matter. You don't go to France and tell people what their ancestors did doesn't matter. You don't go to Nigeria and tell people what their ancestors did doesn't matter. Are you fucking retarded, you dumb motherfucker? You better get it fucking straight. This is not about whether you did work for free or not. This is about acknowledging reality. Even if they got paid, you don't tell people what their ancestors did doesn't matter. Are you fucking retarded? What country do you fucking live in? That's stupid. And you see the arrogance of these MAGA people? I'm an American who live in Denmark. I would never tell a Dane what their ancestors did doesn't fucking matter. What are you fucking talking about?
Stone quarries of Maryland and Virginia, providing marble and granite for the monument. Though the majority of construction after the war used paid labor, the materials and early groundwork relied on enslaved people. Open quote. Source, National Park.
The people that freed the slaves are not even in the Republican Party today. Their ancestors weren't in the Republican Party, okay? And secondly, it wasn't the Republican Party, it was actual people. Okay, did your ancestors fight for the Union? Did they die for the Union? Yes or no? Okay, if they didn't die for the Union, then shut the fuck up. Mine did.
Park Service, h.das.gov/domo/historyculture/slavery.htm. Close quote. In summary, yes, enslaved African Americans physically built and shaped the core symbols of American democracy. Their work built the Capitol, White House, and Washington Monument, even though they were denied freedom and citizenship at the time. These contributions.
Now, I'm only saying this because guess what? Look, check this out. Let's go back. Now let's look at today. Let's keep it straight. This is not me though. I'm not saying that these people shouldn't be paid. But you know what? What I'm saying is that why are we scapegoating one group of people against the other in the first place? And that's what's going on here. This is what this is actually about. This is about you don't want people to have a living wage in the United States of America. You don't want people to have health care, to be able to afford health care in the very country where their fucking ancestors worked for free. In the very country where their ancestors fought for wars to keep the country free. I'm not talking about only people that are descendants of slaves. I'm talking about everybody. You don't want their descendants to be able to afford a goddamn thing. That's the problem. And they're sitting there picking and choosing who gets something from that. It's like, this is bullshit what's going on in the United States of America. That's what I'm talking about. And listen to this. Listen.
On what their pay is going to be for this coming Tuesday. And they got notice that their paycheck is going to be a big fat zero. And the stress.
And all I'm saying, these are air traffic control workers. Trump was already firing you people. Trump was already firing you. I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Kamala Harris, who wasn't going to fire you. But see, this country's politic, in this country's Congress, right, in this country's Senate, in this country's Supreme Court, has found a way to racially profile and also commit other forms of discrimination against women, against all kinds of people. And now you're sitting here, now that everybody is about to taste a little bit, you know, I'm just reminding people, I'm just reminding folks that while you or maybe feel like, oh, a grievance and injustice is being done to you because you didn't get paid, just remember, the people that built these houses, everybody didn't get paid. Everyone who worked on this Capitol building didn't get paid. Loads of African Americans did not get paid 1 cent. In fact, their slave masters got paid. Loads of African Americans who built this White House that Trump is paid to tear down never got paid. It's just a reminder when you whine about being an American citizen, when you whine, when you don't understand there's a time to stand up for justice and it has nothing to do with a motherfucking check. See, if you're always going to be led by a check, you're never going to get fucking justice. You're never going to get justice because they're just going to offer little groups of people, here you go, little bitch, take this check. And then you're going to shut up and watch someone else who deserves fairness be treated like shit. What kind of fucking country is that? That's what I'm talking about. What kind of fucking country is that? You see, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. And I'm going to tell you, everybody doesn't have this perspective, but I have my perspective because mine is real to me. It doesn't have to be real to you. Everyone that lives in the United States of America, like Donald J. Trump's family, doesn't have shit to do with building these buildings. Didn't have shit to do with fighting in any civil war and fighting in any war of independence. That's Donald Trump's different history. His family wasn't in the United States. So he ain't talking about that. Sean Hannity's not talking about who built these buildings because he doesn't give a fuck because his ancestors weren't there. See, people whose ancestors were there care about this shit. Okay? Or they should. And if they don't, fuck you. That's all. I mean, hey, you know, that's just life for you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Let's go on.
Excellent and very thoughtful question. And you're right to ask about numbers and whether any of the enslaved workers were later paid or continued as free laborers on the same sites. Unfortunately, the exact number of African Americans, enslaved or free, who built each site isn't fully documented, but historians and federal records provide credible estimates and examples. U.S. Capitol building. Estimated enslaved laborers, around...
When the Supreme Court is talking about, oh, we can't have a little black girl or a black boy at Yale University. It can't be just because of his race. Oh, really? Well, you could certainly have a black girl or a black boy working on the Capitol building, the monument, the White House, for free because of their race. You certainly could do that. You certainly can go around with ICE, sending them to communities that they don't live in, stopping people indiscriminately because of their race and because of their color. You certainly can do that. So today, you're going to get a reminder of, if you're not getting your federal government check from the taxpayers of the United States of America, who are largely also African Americans, boo fucking who. 1 day, 2 days, 1 month ain't shit compared to centuries. That's all I'm saying.
500 individuals over time. Timeline, 1793 to 1800. First phase, later expansions through the 1820s. Details, records from the architect of the Capitol, AO, show the government rented enslaved workers from local owners in Maryland and Virginia. Payroll records list hire of Negroes as a regular expense. Jobs, quarrying sandstone at Acquia Creek, Virginia, cutting and transporting stone, carpentry, plastering, and roofing. They earned $5 to $8 per month, but that pay went to their enslavers. A few free black workers also labored alongside them and received pay directly.
Exactly, Tia.
These were the minority. After emancipation, 1863 to 1865, formerly enslaved men or their children occasionally continued working as paid craftsmen or laborers on later renovations, e.g. dome reconstruction in the 1860s. Reference, Architect of the Capitol, Slave Labor Commemorative Marker, and at aoc.gov/explore-Capitol Campus, art/slave labor, U.S. Capitol Historical Society, Enslaved Labor.
Those are just the references for people that want to know about their country. They want to go find out how these buildings were built. You know, these buildings that Donald Trump thinks he can just tear down. He gets paid a salary to tear it down. He gets a budget to tear it down. But by the way, not everybody got a salary to build the motherfucking building that he's tearing down. Just think about that. And I know a lot of you bitch asses are very, very selfish in your motherfucking brain that you can't sit back and contemplate what that really means. See, that what that means is that you don't even appreciate free motherfucking labor. That's what that means. And military people should be on guard, because if they don't appreciate free labor, why the fuck would they appreciate your labor at all in the first place? That's what I'm saying. I mean, this should be troubling. You shouldn't be pissed off at me if you're in the military or you working for the feds and you hear me saying this. You shouldn't be pissed off, actually, because I'm on your side. You should be saying, damn, this brother makes some excellent fucking points. Because if this bitch, Donald Trump, would tear down a building where people who built it didn't even fucking get paid, if he would tear down a building like that, he definitely doesn't give a fuck about anybody's labor if he doesn't give a fuck about people's free labor. See, that's the point. But go ahead. Go ahead. You do your job.
Of the U.S. Capitol, uschs.org. That's the White House. Estimated enslaved laborers, around 200 to 300 individuals. Timeline, 1792 to 1800, initial construction. Details, most were enslaved men rented from plantations in Maryland and Virginia. They worked alongside Irish and Scottish immigrants as stonecutters, carpenters, and bricklayers.
Irish and Scottish immigrants. Hey, from the people that are descendants of those Scottish and Irish immigrants, what's up? What's up? Hey, everybody. How y'all doing out there? You know what I'm saying? Biden is actually one of them, by the way. Hey, how you doing, Biden? Thanks for being a decent man. Thanks for being a decent president. Thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Like at the Capitol, they were not paid directly. Wages went to enslavers. A few free African Americans, such as James Hoban's free black assistants, were paid, though documentation is scarce. After the War of 1812, when the White House was rebuilt, 1815 to 1817, free black craftsmen were employed. Some of these men are believed to have been formerly enslaved. Reference, White House Historical Association, enslaved workers who built the White House, /www.whitehousehistory.org/rooms press materials, enslaved workers who built the White Housington Monument. Estimated enslaved laborers, roughly 40 to 60 individuals in the early phase, 1848.
No, listen. This is the perfect conversation. Who built the White House? Since a motherfucker just tore it down after lying to everyone and saying that he wouldn't touch it. This is the perfect conversation. Who built the White House? Who built it? Who built it? This is the perfect American moment to look in the mirror and really recognize who you are and what you're doing right now with the power in the United States of America. Hey, y'all, guess what? Loads of slaves, people who didn't get paid 1 cent, worked to build this building. They were among some of the first laborers working on these buildings. The monument, the Capitol, the White House. Yes, they were among some of the first. They didn't get paid 1 red penny, 1 red cent to build these buildings. They sacrificed. Not only that, but they come from families that sacrificed centuries of free labor in the United States of America. They come from an ethnic group that fought in every goddamn war that the country has ever been in. War of Independence, Civil War, on and on and on and on and on. So when you tear down these buildings, the fact that you don't give a fuck about that literally means you don't give a fuck about anybody else. If you don't give a fuck about the free laborers' work, if you can't respect the free laborers' work on a building like that, you don't respect anybody who gets paid in the military either. You don't even respect them really having a check. They're really just pawns for you. You don't really respect their work. They're just pawns.
To 1854. Timeline. Construction began 1848, halted 1854 to 1877, completed 1884. Details. Enslaved men worked in stone quarries in Maryland and Virginia, cutting and transporting marble and granite. The worksite in DC itself likely used free and enslaved black labor for hauling and masonry. After construction resumed post-Civil War, free black workers were indeed employed and paid directly for their labor. By then, slavery was abolished. Reference: National Park Service, Slavery and the Washington Monument .nps.gov/learn/history-culture/slavery.htm. Were any enslaved workers paid or retained after freedom? Direct payment while enslaved? No. Wages went to enslavers. After emancipation, some formerly enslaved or free African Americans continued work as paid laborers, masons, carpenters, and porters for federal projects. However, no record confirms that a specific enslaved person who built the Capitol or White House later returned to work on the same building as a free man. Many descendants of those enslaved workers did, however, work in federal service or construction in Washington, D.C. through Reconstruction and beyond. Would you like me to compile a table showing the 3 sites side by side?
Right. And thank you to those people who made those sacrifices to build these buildings for free. No payment whatsoever. So when you're thinking about your paycheck and you're getting confused, feeling the heat, suffering, thinking about your loved ones. Yeah, I identify with that as an African American, what that pain, what that feeling must be like. I actually do. Because I know what it's like. Because I come from a family that had to experience it. It's part of their history. It's part of their legacy. You don't get to pass any property down when you work for centuries for free. There's not that inheritance. There's none of that pull yourself up by your bootstraps talk that really works when you're in that situation. Not in your own country. It doesn't work, at least. You see what I'm saying? That didn't seem to work in the United States of America. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, did it? No, it didn't. So it's just a lesson. Look at the people tearing it down. Did any of them work on these buildings? Did any of their ancestors work and get paid? Did any of their ancestors work for free? I know Trump's didn't. The man who's tearing it down, he didn't. The man who's tearing it down, his family had nothing to do with building it at all because his family wasn't in the country. Sean Hannity's family wasn't in the country. A lot of these right-wingers' families were not in the country, especially the ones on fucking TV. A lot of them. Not all of them. I'm just saying a lot of them. So in any case, just something to ponder when we talk about that topic. Now, I don't give a fuck who listens. Some people listen. Loads of people are going to get this message. And that's who the message is for. The people that don't really get it, I don't give a fuck about you. I really don't. I really don't, because you're showing in this image the lunacy that you are up to any motherfucking way, making excuses for a man who is a total fucking criminal. By the way, I'm going to be doing just fine, while the pain that this man inflicts on you and your family, you're going to live through, and I'm going to commentate about it the entire goddamn time. From outside of the U.S., I'm going to commentate about it, because, hey, that's how shit really works. So, TSA workers, I hope you get your check. I know how it feels. African Americans, even though you may not agree with DEI, African Americans know how it feels to not get your check on time.
On what their pay is going to be for this coming Tuesday. And they got notice that their paycheck is going to be a big fat zero. And the stress level that our controllers are under right now, I think, is unacceptable. And so we're getting word back right now from our...
Sounds like a work union problem. Sounds like a union issue, huh? Yeah, well, you know what that's all about.
Our academy in Oklahoma City, that are some of our young controllers in the academy, and some who have been given spots in the next class of the academy, are bailing. They're walking away. They're asking.
And you should fucking bail. But let me tell you, whether they give you a check or not, I'm telling you, Donald J. Trump don't give a fuck about you anyway. To him, you're a fucking pawn. You're a slave. He's holding out a check, like just dangling it in front of you, knowing the harm that's going to be caused. They all do. This is just what he's been doing. The man started off firing TSA workers on day one, and airplanes started crashing on fucking day one. Yes, that's what happened. So whether you're getting a check or not, he doesn't give a fuck about you. Military folks, whether you get a check or not, he doesn't give a fuck about you. Because listen, if you don't give a fuck about the people who worked on these buildings for free, if you don't give a fuck about the descendants of the people who worked for centuries for free, you don't give a fuck about this.
On what their pay is going to be for this coming Tuesday.
That's just reality in the United States of America. You know, I mean, you're going to tear down a building that people worked on it for motherfucking free? Okay. While you get paid, huh? That's a real sacrifice. I get paid a check to tear down a building that some other people work free. Oh, I'm a real patriot. Okay, you're a real patriot. Okay, wow, that's really interesting. I don't know how that makes any motherfucking sense at all, but I know one thing for sure. I'm not working for fucking free for the United States of America. And if not only am I not working for free, I actually have health care. Not only am I not working for free, my kids actually do go to school and get a stipend, okay, from outside of the United States of America. Not only am I not going to work for free, I would never work for Donald Trump for a motherfucking check at all. Period. I will spit in your motherfucking face first, okay? Now, let's go on. Now that we solved that, the same guy is up to this. This is what the same guy's up to.
Seriously,
Here we go.
You're always trying to have
this
same guy.
trolling. I think he was with The Economist there.
Trolling is the word I would have used.
There is this kind of wacky theory that J.D. Vance will run for president with Trump as his vice president, and then J.D. Vance gets into office and flips it. But do you think Bannon actually believes this, or is this trolling? I think he was with The Economist there.
Trolling is the word I would have used, Jake. I mean, I don't know any serious, smart conservative that listens to Steve Bannon. I mean, he's a crazy person. I think this is a troll. I think they love trotting this story out every few months. Between the 22nd Amendment and the 12th Amendment, which says if someone's not eligible to be president, they can eligible to be vice president. It's going to get blown.
Hey, look at this. Randy, when was your mama's first gay experience? Okay? Not that I give a fuck. What goes in my mind is not sexuality when I have conversations about politics, ancestry, patriotism, fairness, union jobs, healthcare. But obviously, what goes through your dumbass brain is something else. Your mama should have fucking aborted you.
And the states control who's on the ballots. You'll have states like California and Colorado who will just not list Donald Trump on the ballot as the presidential candidate in 2028, and that'll be the end of it. So I think they love laughing at people and getting everyone all riled up, but at the end of the day, it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, you know, you mentioned that this is a crazy person that no one listens to, and yet this is a person that has a huge platform that people actually do listen to. I think
a lot of people in MAGA world listen to
exactly Winner.
Whether they should is another matter, but
exactly. And I think you know, even though all the case that you outlined and why Donald Trump cannot be on the ticket are all the reasons, I mean, this is not constitutionally possible, I still think you have to take it seriously. I mean, they are bending the levers of power and the courts and the legal system to their benefit. And I mean, while I don't think a Trump third term is possible, I still think it's something that Democrats should take seriously.
I think after January 6th, you got to take it all.
Yeah.
With the Trump White House, and if you look at all the stories, the White House declined to comment. The White House rarely declines to comment. So this is him out on his own.
I would argue the White House response ought to be, no, the president is going to follow the Constitution. He will not be running for a third term.
No formal involvement.
I don't know.
With the White House.
I'm going to dispute this just a little bit. The weeks leading up to January 6th, Steve Bannon was saying all hell was going to break loose if Donald Trump was not necessarily, they didn't certify the results for Donald Trump. Look at what happened. We had an insurrection. Since then, and I mentioned, and as I will, as much as I can, is he has not only pardoned 1,600 people that are out.
Now notice, there was not an insurrection over reparations for the people who built the White House, the Capitol building, the monument for free. There was not an insurrection for that. There was not an insurrection for reparations for African Americans. That's not what the insurrection was about. The insurrection was about, we don't want to follow the law anymore. We want to go back to 1776, which a lot of their ancestors don't have anything to do with. You know, they just don't want the law to apply anymore. They don't want the Constitution anymore. It's just that simple. You know, so that means everyone that fought and died for the promise of that Constitution, these people are traitors to your ancestors. Whether you were paid or not, they are traitors to all of you, period. That's what that really means.
Out on the loose and waiting for their orders. And when Steve Bannon says that Donald Trump is potentially going to serve another term, he is sending a signal not only to those 1,600 people that rioted and caused an insurrection at the Capitol, but all of MAGA. And so my hope is that we will have a Supreme Court that will end up stopping this. But
Supreme Court that will end up stopping this. Wow. Your hopes? That's like a crapshoot. You have better luck at the casino.
I actually think that Steve Bannon truly believes that this is the case, and he's sending a signal to MAGA that Donald Trump should be.
Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. So, where were we? Let me pull this back up 2 seconds.
Former special counsel Jack Smith says he'll comply with GOP demands to testify before Congress.
All right, now, sorry about that. I got to do this live quick. Now, check this out. The same guy who tears down the White House, right, doesn't have any respect for the descendants of the people who even worked on the building for free is actually against any form of reparative justice towards those people. This is the same guy now going after others who are doing what? Their job, just to fight crime, illegal activity. Listen, this man, Donald J. Trump, doesn't give a fuck about one service member, one federal worker, one anybody, one school teacher, one anything. He doesn't give a fuck. And again, I'm going to say it. If he didn't give a damn about the fact that he tore down a building, he gets a check to tear down a building without any consultation of any people, the people's house, even the people whose ancestors worked on the fucking building for free. I'm telling you, that is a clear indication he doesn't give a fuck about any service member. He doesn't give a fuck about any sacrifice to the country that anyone made. And this is another indication right here.
Congress, but only if the hearing is made public. Oversight Committee leaders have yet to say if they'll take him up on that offer. And in yet another possible prosecution, this time against Democratic Senator Adam Schiff, MSNBC's Ken Delaney and Carol Leonnig report that the Trump Justice Department's case has stalled. A federal prosecutor overseeing the probe recently told senior officials that despite months of investigation, she does not believe the case against Schiff is strong enough to move forward. President Trump, unsurprisingly, is not taking the news well. Here's what he said about Senator Schiff earlier this week.
Adam Schiff is one of the lowest forms of scum I've ever dealt with in politics. He's a horrible human being.
Look at this. Can Trump make a sentence? Here we go. Look, who said this? Can you say a sentence without saying fuck? Can Trump make a sentence without calling people horrible human beings? Civil servants? Can he do that? Can Trump do that? No, Trump can't do that. He's your president. Can Trump not rape people? Can Trump not hide the Jeffrey Epstein files? Can Trump not do all kinds of shit that has effects on real people's lives? Goddamn, and you actually have the nerve to give a goddamn about me saying fuck? Listen, I'm not a Christian conservative. I'm not a Muslim conservative. I'm not a Jewish conservative. I'm not a conservative. Okay? Just understand that. Okay? If you don't like how I talk, leave. Okay? Just like you tell people, look at this. Just like they tell people, oh, the guy had a right to wear a Nazi uniform. You don't have to like it. It's freedom of speech. Whatever happened to freedom of speech?
Dishonest person. I have no idea what's going on. You tell me that he's going to be indicted. I don't know. You could ask Pam. I don't know if she could say it. Probably you are allowed to say it, but
what about Donald Trump's statement here? Any intelligence involved in here? Is this good? Is this high level of intelligence or low level? You tell me.
Adam Schiff is one of the lowest forms.
If Donald Trump's statement is low intelligence, put a 1 in the chat. If it's high intelligence, put a 2 in the chat.
Forms of scum I've ever dealt with in politics. He's a horrible human being. Very dishonest person. I have no idea what's going on. You tell me that he's going to be indicted. I don't know. You could ask Pam. I don't know if she could say it. Probably you are allowed to say it, but I wouldn't know about that. I can only tell you he's a very bad. I think he's actually a sick person. Do you want to talk about?
Does Donald Trump have the freedom of speech to say it? If he has the freedom of speech to say it, put a 1 in the chat. If he doesn't, put a 2 in the chat.
Talk about that.
We're not going to comment on any grand jury that's open. We can't legally.
I don't know.
Right. Donald J. Trump asking Pam Bondi to be an accessory to a crime right in international television. Yeah. And guess what? To a lot of MAGA supporters, including the ones in the chat, they don't care about that. No, because they're bitching and whining about being something they're not. They're not patriots. They don't follow the law. They don't care about the country. They don't care about the beginnings of the country. They don't care about any sacrifice anyone has made to the country. All they care about is their little fantasy in their brain about being white supremacist, you know. And these white supremacist men, they want their women in the motherfucking bed popping out babies every week. I mean, literally, they don't want them even being in the military. They don't want them doing, they don't even want them being the president of the United States.
By the way, I hope it's true.
It's true, man.
Joining us now is Georgetown law professor, MSNBC legal analyst, and former federal prosecutor Paul Butler, and managing editor for The Bulwark and MSNBC contributor Sam Stein. Okay, Paul. Paul. Now,
Poor Pam.
I mean, can you just please explain to the wonderful people who are awake with us right now why what we just saw the President of the United States do and say?
Hey, let me ask you something. Here, let me ask you something, Thomas. Are the people not getting paid that work for the federal government, are they clutching their pearls right now? Is that what we should say to them? Is that your message to the people not getting paid? Is that your message to the people that aren't going to get Medicaid, Medicare? Don't clutch your pearls? Is that your comment, Thomas? Let me know how you feel about that. Is that how people should talk to those folks? Don't clutch your pearls? I don't know. Maybe you think that's okay. Maybe that's the level of empathy that you have for other people. I don't know. Is that what you're telling me, Thomas? Should the people who aren't getting paid a check right now, working for the federal government, military, any of those things, should you tell them, or should all of us tell them, stop clutching your pearls? Maybe you're right. Maybe we should all do that. Stop clutching your pearls. That's what Trump told the people about Medicaid and Medicare, right? Stop clutching your pearls. Isn't that what Trump told them? Maybe it's just right for everybody. Stop clutching your pearls, everybody. Stop clutching your pearls. Thomas said so. Okay? Yeah, Thomas says, stop clutching your pearls. You'll get your check. Stop whining.
One, highly unusual, and two, could become a problem in legal proceedings down the road.
So it's against the law to disclose grand jury material to anybody outside of the grand jury, including the President of the United States, which is what the President asked the Attorney General to do. Now,
and you know that she's done it in private anyway.
Now, normally she hops to whatever he tells her.
But then again, that's not a MAGA fool's problem. No. We don't follow laws anymore. We don't care about the laws. We only care about the law when it affects us personally. And by the way, fuck it. We're against the law. We're against the Constitution. Fuck it. We want to bring shit back. Get rid of the 14th Amendment, everything, because my ancestors didn't actually die in any war for the country, let alone the Civil War or the War of Independence. We're just freeloaders.
Her to do, but this time it was too much even for her, because she could get locked up for that. She could get sanctioned by the bar for that. And again, we know from when Trump was trying to slide into her DMs with that Truth Social post, when he accidentally broadcasted it to the world.
Because that's what, 7:05 in the morning.
Well, again, that order, right? That order, you got to go after Comey and Letitia James and everybody else who I don't like. So that was a mistake. But we don't know the other times that.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, this is somebody else. Jesse, I'm getting my Medicare check and Social Security check. Well, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe we should vote against that. Okay? How about that? Maybe we should vote against it. Yay, Elon Musk, go in there and rip it apart. Yay. Yeah, go take her fucking Medicare from her. How about that? That would be nice. Fuck it. I'll vote for it, because guess what? I do have my universal health care. I have my... and other rights, just the fact that I'm outside of the United States of America. So yes, I'm going to vote for you, Jesse Parker, to not have fucking Medicare. Why don't you stop freeloading, Jesse Parker? I'm the new type of MAGA. Stop freeloading. Why should my taxes go to your Medicare and Social Security? Pull your pants up by yourself. Stop begging, Jesse Parker. In my MAGA voice.
times that he doesn't make that mistake and he sends her orders. So who knows? Maybe he does actually know. He acted like he knew that there's a grand jury proceeding going on. He's not even supposed to know that.
I'm not a lawyer, so
He's not supposed to know that. And these MAGA people don't give a shit if he knows that. They don't care if he rips down every fucking building in Washington, D.C. That's what they voted for. They don't care if you send women back to just pumping out babies and not voting. They don't care because they're willing to start meddling with the 14th Amendment and just say, well, it's just a case. It's just an amendment. It could always be changed. Was the 14th Amendment meant to last forever or should it be changed? It only matters on how many judges you have to say yay or nay. Hey, how about we buy some judges? How about that? That's okay, right? MAGA thinks that's cool. Okay.
So, take this for what it's worth, but it did seem like the Bolton case was a lot stronger.
Now, so here's another freedom of speech. Stop clutching your pearls. Stop clutching your pearls. You know, stop clutching your pearls. Do you ever say a word without the F word? Whatever happened to freedom of speech? See, this is what's funny. When you curse and you ask yourself, and you ask people in the chat, did their ancestors work for free in the United States of America? Did they have to work for free for a year, 2 years, a century? They say, stop clutching your pearls. Stop saying the F word, freedom of speech, right? This is the only time they respect freedom of speech. Right here. When somebody comes up to a club and wears a Nazi uniform in the United States of America. That's when they're for freedom of speech. They're for freedom of speech when you carry a Dixie flag around for the enemy of the United States of America. That loads of people died just to have a goddamn country for, so people didn't have to work in slavery, among other things. That's where the freedom of speech is good for. The freedom of speech doesn't count when you want to remind them of that. That's not where the freedom of speech works. You know, that's amazing. I think it's amazing. Let's see here.
Don't touch him. Don't touch me. Get the fuck out. No one here is fuck you. What the fuck?
He's in my. Yo, are you in my accounting class? Yeah. What up, bro?
Fuck you! What the fuck?
He's in my. Yo, are you?
This is so crazy. People also pay federal taxes. MAGA Mike Johnson, look at this comment right here. This is so stupid. See, no. This has to apply to everybody. Everybody has to start being stupid like this. People on the left need to also just adapt to the stupidity. That's all it is. How stupid are you, says Lyle Cantor. People pay into Social Security while they are working so they can receive it later. It's a system of investing, not spreading of legs or receiving free benefits. Oh, wow, is that true? Well, what about the people that pay for insurance, health insurance, when they're healthy, never get a chance to use it, and then all of a sudden when they lose their job, MAGA Mike Johnson, the same person you fucking cap for every day, says it's only for able-bodied people, only for able-bodied people. What about those people? What about those people? Did you care about those people at all? No. So why should anyone give a fuck about your Social Security? Stop fucking begging. Okay? This is the MAGA V media you're getting right now. Fuck your Social Security. Stop begging. You're not owed anything. And there's people cheating it. And you're probably one of them. Are you happy with that? There you have it. That's how it feels to be treated. I hope you like that treatment because you're going to get a lot more. Because if you're okay with some Americans being treated that way, you're okay with it happening to you. And trust me, a lot of folks seem to be like they're okay with it happening to them because a lot of MAGA people are feeling it right now because they don't get a fucking check. And And guess what else? Their health insurance, their Medicaid is about to go up twice as much. If Democrats of all people don't hold the line, their Medicare is about to go up twice. Can you afford it? Can you afford it? Or are you going to clutch your pearls like you told me? I wonder. Yay! Let's make it go up so people like that person can understand what the hell is going on. Yay! This is the only time they like freedom of speech. Just only so you can wear your Nazi shit. That's the only time. Only so you can have your Nazi shit. Look at this. This bummerclot wore a goddamn Nazi uniform. Right now, this is just the other day. Look at this. This is just the other day. Wears it out. Expects people to be happy about it in this environment. So that's what we have. Freedom of speech. That's welcome in the United States of America. Freedom of hate is what people are actually expressing. So they love to say freedom of speech is support the enemies of the United States of America. That's what they say. The people that actually work, the lay people, no. You're just beggars. You're just beggars. The people that pay 75% of the federal tax budget are just beggars in the United States of America. And that is what MAGA says every day in their policy. That's what they say. It's just facts, you know? And if you don't like it, oh well. And by the way, I'm really going to love it because while you actually really do clutch your purse or your pearls or whatever the hell that is, while you're going to be clutching your pearls, MAGA, I'm going to be on the internet watching it, commentating on it. Yes, I will. Why? Because you chose it. That's what I'm going to do. Now, let's get on to the next thing. I just wanted to get that off. Now, here is actually a suggestion for some people, right? Folks that aren't getting paid a paycheck right now and complaining. These are what records look like of people who didn't get paid. Slaves that worked on the White House, Capitol building, monument, that they didn't get paid, but their slave masters got paid. See? Signed for them to do the work. Yes. You can always find this. This is in the National Archives. This is even in the White House archives, the Capitol archives. Goddamn. You know what I mean? If you want to know if your family was in the United States of America during those periods, you know, MAGA people like to talk about 1776 and all of this shit. But hey, what's going on? This is even after a lot of them, you know, it makes me wonder, like, what country do you come from when you're actually trying to make people's Medicare double? What country do you come from when you're actually telling the damn ICE that they can racially profile? At the same time, you're telling universities they can't take women, they can't take minorities into their ranks, even though they have the grades to make sure that there's diversity. At the very same time, this is what's going on in the United States. And if you're going for it, you deserve whatever you get. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Whichever way you vote is what you're going to get. Did you vote for Elon Musk? A lot of you did. Did you vote for the person whose best friend is the most prolific pedophile sex trafficker in the United States of America? A lot of you probably did. A lot of you probably did. Are you supporting a man, an organization, a party that refuses to release the Epstein files when they actually belong to every American taxpayer, every American citizen? Are you supporting a party that's keeping it secret? A lot of you fucking probably are. And you are the fucking scum of the United States of America. And you're going to get what you fucking deserve. Amen. I'm going to love it. I appreciate y'all. I'll be back later on tonight. Be good, everybody. Thank you for listening to this message. Release the Epstein files, bitches.
They want war, crime. Crying babies looking for food, starvation, the recipe, people subdued. When the people you trust got it in for you. Deceit is the word of the day in every crew. Don't let it go, it's from the days of old. Time is up, but some still do not know. Can I make up my mind? Is it worth the dime? Do I have to take a minute just to make it mine? Life's never fair, but don't listen to the TV. Go out and take a listen to the streets with the people in the slums and the homeless bums with degrees and degrees sitting under a tree. It's not easy in the world for the poor man, the one that brought you to reality. See, they don't want you to know about the black sheep. Even 7 roads to the 12 families all around the globe with an ancient code. Is it really asking a lot to say a death old? Cause we sitting on the earth looking back at extinct, and I'm standing on some ground that's about to sink. I ain't scared for a minute, I ain't about to blink, but I documented for the world what I see and think. Feel we on the call and I feel we on the break. All Congress gonna do is waste paper and ink. Vote or die, you voted and you'll die. You can have it both ways, can't say it's a lie. You can march all you want, but they playing you wrong. They only understand war, it's the same old song. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. Like a lotus coming out of the mud with colors, I create envy in those with power but jealous. I unify the poor with my song, the hell with the others. Descended the way they treat indigenous brothers, cause I understand we link forever. They try to hate us even though that we keep it together. I'm not talking about controlling the air or the weather. I'm talking about maintaining the truth, the high endeavor. A rebel drops bombs in the midst of trouble. The free world counterattack, and now there's double. But nature gets the shit in a way that's subtle. If you stop the machines for a minute, you might hear, but they won't, cause the TV's whisper in the ear. And capitalism has eyes that don't tear, and they cloud up and get crazy and won't steer. And like an ad, it's hard to get an ass to listen. Living like this is like living in prison. It's hard to keep hope when you're living in prison. The spiritual thoughts, so yes, the mental prison. The outside, yes, it's got to get through. Something's gotta die, so something here can live. Your life is nothing if you got nothing to give. Keeping the spiritual, yes, disguised as religion. Controlling your mind, the mental prison. They want war, all they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war. All they really want is a war. Diversionary tactic to make the big score. The diamonds in the morning, you know they want more, but they wanna keep you low, so they manifest the war.
Yeah, yo, I changed. Oh my God. I changed the title of this video to, "Hey MAGA, stop being lazy and get and work for a change." Hold up. Let me change it to, "Stop being lazy, MAGA, and get out there and work." Let me see it. Stop being lazy, MAGA, and get out there and work. You know, because this is where the gaslighting comes in. Sorry, I just got to say this. They like to pretend that they fucking work. They like to pretend. They like to tell everyone else get out there and work. They gaslighting. They're the ones that are on these programs. When you talk about numbers, there are great numbers of them on these federal assistant programs, and they have the nerve to be talking about liberals who actually just have empathy for people. You know, that is crazy, and they deserve to be told, if any of these MAGA people complain about not getting a check, they deserve to be told, stop clutching your fucking pearls. There's loads of people who fought in that country who did things for free for centuries with no pay. That's the country you're in the United States of America. And if you don't honor those people, why should you be honored? Why should your sacrifice be honored? Why? How can you tell someone else not to be lazy when you actually would never fucking work for free? How can you tell people whose family members worked for centuries for free that they're being lazy? And that's the same principle that's dealing with Medicare. The same principle. Plenty of people work and pay in federal taxes into Medicaid, Medicare. Plenty of people do. And the moment they lose their job, all of a sudden, they don't qualify for fucking Medicaid or Medicare. According to Maga, according to the big beautiful bill, it's the same fucking hypocrisy. It's the same bullshit. And yo, if you goddamn maggots, including the ones on the Supreme Court, if you don't get it fucking straight, you are going to have a serious problem in the United States that you have not witnessed in your bitch ass lifetime. Why? Because you're living in a fucking fantasy world where you're lying and you're cheating and you're robbing and you're committing criminal fucking acts and you're supporting treason against the United States of America. So beware, bitches. Be fucking aware.